Long before the first antibiotic ever existed, a battlefield doctor could stop a wound from going septic, from rotting a man from the inside, with nothing but a weed he pulled from the dirt at his feet. That weed, and 10 more like it, are almost certainly growing in your yard right now. You've been mowing them and pulling them out by the handful every single spring, and one modern lab after another keeps quietly confirming what the old world already knew. These plants actually work. Stay with me for number 2. It holds the exact compound drug companies still put in antiseptic and mouthwash today. And number 1, researchers have tested it against bacteria that shrug off our strongest antibiotics. And it held its ground. I'll also give it to you straight, the way these videos rarely do, including the weed on this list with a lookalike that can stop your heart, and the one simple test that tells them apart every time. This is Remedies Unearthed, where we dig up what the modern world buried. If that's your kind of place, subscribe. What we unearth doesn't stay buried for long. Before we touch the first plant, you need to understand why this isn't just a gardening video. It's bigger than that. For almost all of human history, the deadliest thing that could happen to you wasn't a war or a beast. It was a small wound that went bad, a scratch from a thorn, a blister that turned hot and red. With no way to stop an infection, that tiny opening could take a strong man down in days. So every culture on Earth, on every continent, learned the same lesson the hard way. They found the plants that fought back, and they never let that knowledge go. Then, in the 20th century, we discovered antibiotics, and almost overnight we forgot all of it. Why remember a weed when a pill does it faster? But here's the uncomfortable part. Those same antibiotics are starting to fail. The bacteria are learning, evolving, outrunning our strongest drugs, and scientists quietly have started going back to the old plants, testing them one by one. And what they're finding is that our ancestors were not fools. So let's go dig up what they knew. We'll start small and sour. Number 11, wood sorrel, the one that looks just like clover. 3 little heart-shaped leaflets folded like green hearts on a thin stem. But here's how you know you've really found it. Pinch a leaf and taste it. Sharp, bright, lemony, never grassy. That sourness is the plant talking to you. Here's what most people miss. For centuries, travelers chewed wood sorrel to cool a fever and quench a dry mouth on a long road, and they crushed it onto hot, swollen skin. And modern testing backs the old instinct. The flavonoids and phenols inside it show real antimicrobial activity against certain bacteria and fungi. One honest word of care, because I promised you honesty. Wood sorrel is high in oxalic acid, the same compound in spinach. So this is a nibble, a trailside taste, not a salad bowl. To spot it, look for the heart-shaped leaflets and that unmistakable sour bite. Its only real twin is harmless clover, and that, my friend, is a happy mistake to make. Number 10, garlic mustard. And this one introduces itself before you've even decided to pull it. Crush a leaf and you'll catch it. A soft whisper of garlic, rising off a plant that's actually in the mustard family, not the onion family at all. Settlers carried it across the ocean on purpose, as food and as medicine, and it repaid them by spreading into a weed most gardeners now curse under their breath. But here's what they're cursing. Those scalloped, heart-shaped leaves carry mustard oil compounds that are both expectorant, meaning they help break up a heavy chest, and antibacterial. The old families pressed the crushed leaf onto wounds and brewed it when a cough settled deep. You'll know it by 3 things together: the faint garlic smell, the scalloped leaves, and small white 4-petal flowers in spring. Pick the young leaves, chop them fine into a pesto or a poultice, and you've turned the most hated weed in the yard into the most useful. And it only gets stronger from here. Number 9, curly dock, and you already know this one, even if you've never said its name out loud. It's the tall plant with stalks of rusty reddish-brown seeds that stand stubbornly through the whole winter, long after everything else has fallen. Its long leaves have edges that ripple and wave, like the curl in its name. Herbalists call it yellow dock for the deep yellow of its root. Here's what most people miss. For generations, that root was the go-to for angry skin, cuts, rashes, itching, stubborn sores. And the research lines up with the folklore. Curly dock carries anti-inflammatory and antibacterial compounds, and it's even described in the scientific literature as an adjuvant, a helper, working alongside antibacterial treatment. Spot it by those wavy-edged leaves and that rust-colored seed spike standing tall in a field. The old-timers would dig the root, simmer it into a salve, and keep it on the shelf all winter. But the next one has a darker reputation and a rule you don't break. Number 8. Mugwort, the traveler's plant, and the one with the oldest, strangest reputation on this list. It grows tall along roadsides and fence lines, easy to walk past, until you learn its tell. The top of each deeply cut leaf is plain green, but turn it over, and the underside is a soft, silvery white. Rub it between your fingers, and it smells faintly of sage. For thousands of years, travelers tucked it into their boots for long roads, and folk healers leaned on it for more troubles than I could name in this video. Here's the science. Mugwort's essential oil has been shown in the lab to act against serious bacteria, Staph aureus, Salmonella, and E. coli among them. But here's the firm word of care I owe you. If you are pregnant, you leave mugwort completely alone. It has a long documented history of acting on the womb, and this is not the plant to experiment with. For everyone else, know it by that silver underside and treat it with the respect its reputation earned. Number 7. Purple dead nettle. And if you garden at all, you've watched it flood your beds in a purple haze every spring. Soft, fuzzy leaves, tinted deep violet toward the top, climbing a stem that's square if you roll it between your fingers. And here's the first relief. Despite that frightening name, it does not sting. It's a mint, not a true nettle, gentle as can be. Here's what most people miss while they're spraying it. Beneath that purple softness sits a real store of antibacterial and anti-inflammatory plant compounds, which is exactly why the old families reached for it to press onto scrapes, insect bites, and irritated skin, a fresh green bandage growing for free. To identify it, look for the square stem and those purple-crowned leaves. Its lookalike, henbit, is just as harmless and just as useful, so don't lose sleep telling them apart. Crush the fresh leaves into a quick poultice for a bite or a scratch. The weed you've cursed every April may be one of the gentlest medicines in your whole yard. Now, if you're starting to see just how much quiet power has been hiding where you least expected it, do me one small favor and tap that like button. It costs you nothing, and it's the single biggest thing that tells YouTube to carry this old knowledge to the next person who needs to hear it. Because everything from here up are the heavy hitters. The 4 most powerful weeds on this list, including the one with the deadly twin. Number 6. Shepherd's purse, named for what you'll see the moment you look closely at the stalk. Running up the stem are dozens of tiny, flat, heart-shaped seed pods, each one shaped like the little leather purse a shepherd once carried. Once you've seen it, you can never unsee it. For generations, this was the plant the midwives and the field medics reached for first, the one they trusted to slow a wound that wouldn't stop bleeding. And here's where it gets remarkable. Modern researchers found that a compound in shepherd's purse, sulforaphane, acts against H. pylori, the bacterium behind stomach ulcers, and even against drug-resistant superbacteria that laugh at ordinary treatment. The same caution as before applies, not during pregnancy. Recognize it by those little heart-shaped purses climbing the stalk, and you found one of the quiet workhorses of old-world medicine. Number 5. Burdock. And you have absolutely met this plant, even if you never knew its name. It's the one whose round, clinging burrs hitch a ride on your socks and your dog's fur, the very burr that a Swiss inventor studied under a microscope and turned into Velcro. Above ground, giant leaves, like an elephant's ears. Below ground, a long, deep root the old world treated as a blood cleanser and a healer of troubled skin. Here's the science, and it's specific. A compound concentrated in burdock root, arctigenin, has been shown to break down the cell membrane of Pseudomonas aeruginosa, one of the genuinely stubborn, hard-to-kill bacteria that modern medicine wrestles with. You'll know it by those enormous leaves and the burrs that won't let go. Dig the root in its first year while it's tender and simmer it into a broth or a tincture. Nature hid one of its best medicines underground and handed you a handle to pull it up with. Number 4. Goldenrod. And before anything else, we have to clear its name. Every single autumn, goldenrod gets blamed for hay fever, the runny eyes, the sneezing, the misery. And it's innocent. The real culprit is ragweed, a dull green plant blooming at the exact same time in the exact same fields. Goldenrod just has the bad luck of being beautiful and bright, while its guilty neighbor hides in plain sight. Here's what that bad reputation cost us. Those golden plumes are a genuine antiseptic. Goldenrod tests strongly against Staphylococcus, and Europe has used it for urinary tract complaints for centuries, with modern studies now backing it up. Spot it by the tall, arching sprays of gold in late summer and fall. Dry the flowers and leaves, steep them into a tea. The plant you were taught to sneeze at is the one you should have been brewing all along. And now we're down to the final 3, the strongest of them all. Number 3. Mullein. Impossible to miss once you know it. In its first year, it's a rosette of soft, pale, velvety leaves, so plush you could mistake them for a lamb's ear. In its second year, it sends up a tall flower spike studded with yellow, standing like a torch above the field. For coughs, for congestion, for a chest that won't clear, mullein is one of the most reached-for plants in the entire history of folk medicine, and the lab agrees with the grandmothers. Mullein has been shown to act against Staph aureus, E. coli, and the bacteria behind respiratory infections, with antiviral activity on top of that. Know it by those unmistakably fuzzy, soft, silver-green leaves. The old way was to dry them and breathe the steam of the tea for a tight chest. One plant, standing tall in a forgotten field, doing the work of half a pharmacy shelf. Number 2. Wild bergamot. Bee balm, the one I promised you at the very start. It's a shaggy, ragged-looking flower, lavender to dusty pink, on a square mint family stem. And here is what makes it extraordinary. Bee balm is loaded with thymol, the very same compound that drug companies still put in antiseptic mouthwash today. You have almost certainly rinsed with a manufactured version of what this wildflower makes for free. The native peoples of this land understood it long before any laboratory did, brewing bee balm into a wash for mouth and throat infections, and modern testing confirms it works against strep and other respiratory bacteria. Here's your identification trick, and it doubles as the proof. Crush a leaf and smell it. It smells like oregano and thyme. It's close cousins in the mint family, all of them rich in that same antiseptic compound. That scent is how you know you've found the real thing, which leaves only one plant, the most powerful of them all. Number 1. Wild garlic. The weed scientists still cannot stop studying. From across the yard it looks like nothing. Thin, grassy blades, easy to mow straight over, but crush a single leaf and the whole patch erupts with the smell of garlic. That smell is the medicine. It's a compound called allicin, and allicin is one of the most documented natural antibacterials on the entire planet, shown to kill a broad range of bacteria, including the multi-drug-resistant strains that our strongest modern antibiotics struggle to touch. This is not folklore. Soldiers in both world wars packed crushed wild garlic into wounds when the medicine ran out, and it saved limbs and lives. But this is the plant I warned you about at the start. Wild garlic has lookalikes that can kill you. Lily of the valley, autumn crocus, death calmers. People have died mistaking the leaves. So here is the one test that never, ever fails. If it doesn't smell powerfully of garlic, you do not touch it. The poisonous twins have no scent, no garlic smell, no harvest, no exceptions. Get that single rule right, and the most powerful antibiotic weed on this entire list is yours, growing wild and free. Now, the part most of these videos skip, and the reason you can trust the rest. These plants are powerful, and powerful demands respect. Never, ever swallow anything you cannot identify with total certainty. When in doubt, throw it out. The smell test for wild garlic is not optional. If you're pregnant, skip the mugwort and the shepherd's purse entirely. If you're prone to kidney stones, go easy on the sour ones. Wood, sorrel and dock are high in oxalates. And none of this replaces a doctor when you genuinely need one. It stands beside that wisdom. It doesn't shove it aside. Know your plant, respect the dose, and these weeds will only ever serve you. So here's the truth we dug up today. The most documented natural antibiotics on Earth were never locked away in a pharmacy. They're in the cracks of your patio, the edge of your lawn, the corner of the garden you keep trying to tame, growing for free, asking for nothing, exactly as they have for thousands of years. The old families had a word for that kind of gift. They called it providence, leaves for healing, given freely. So tell me down in the comments, which of these 11 is already growing in your yard? And I've put together a free printable guide with all of them, how to spot each one, what it does, and the dangerous twins to avoid. The link is waiting for you below. Print it, fold it, keep it in the kitchen drawer. They knew, we forgot. Now you remember. This is Remedies Unearthed, and I'll see you at the next dig.